Nothing in this world happens by chance. Every event, every encounter, every twist and turn in your life is part of a grand design. You are not here by accident, and neither is the person who is destined to walk beside you. From the very beginning of time, God has been aligning the steps of your life, orchestrating moments and setting divine appointments that will bring you face to face with the one he has chosen for you. Think about it. There are over 8 billion people in the world. The odds of finding someone who not only matches you in values, vision, and purpose, but also complements your strengths and supports your growth are astronomically low if left to chance. But this isn't about chance. This is about divine alignment. When God ordains a connection, it cannot be blocked, delayed, or denied. It may take time, it may require patience, but when the moment comes, everything will make sense. Look back at your life. Every heartbreak, every closed door, every disappointment you faced was not a setback, it was a setup. God was shifting people, redirecting relationships, and removing distractions to clear the way for the right person. If you had settled for something less, you would have missed the blessing that was being prepared for you. Every no was leading you to the ultimate yes. Destiny is not an accident. It is a process of divine coordination. Consider the way the stars align in the sky. They don't just randomly scatter themselves. They follow a precise cosmic order. The same is true for the connections in your life. The people you meet, the lessons you learn, and the experiences you go through are all designed to refine you, mold you, and position you to recognize and receive the person God has chosen for you. Now, here's where most people go wrong. They think they are in control of the timing. They believe if they just search hard enough, date enough, or try to force things, they can speed up the process. But let me tell you something. You can't manipulate destiny. You can't rush God's perfect timing. The moment you try to take matters into your own hands, you step outside of divine alignment. And when you're out of alignment, you attract things that were never meant for you. This is why patience is so important. The waiting season is not punishment, it's preparation. Imagine a sculptor working on a masterpiece. Every chisel, every stroke, every refinement is intentional. If the artist stops too soon, the masterpiece remains unfinished. That's what God is doing in your life. He is chiseling away at everything that does not serve you. He is removing fears, insecurities, and distractions. He is shaping your heart, strengthening your faith, and elevating your mindset so that when the moment comes, you don't just meet your chosen partner, you recognize them. Because recognition is key. God can place the right person in front of you, but if you're not in the right mindset, you'll overlook them. You'll mistake them for just another face in the crowd. You'll be too distracted by the temporary to see the eternal. That's why alignment matters. That's why faith matters. When you trust that destiny is already in motion, you don't chase, you attract. You don't settle, you prepare. There are too many people walking around feeling frustrated, thinking God has forgotten them. But let me tell you this, God has not forgotten you. He has been working behind the scenes in ways you can't even imagine. Some of you have been through heartbreak so painful that you started to believe love wasn't meant for you. But what if I told you that the pain was part of the process? That every person who walked away was actually clearing space for someone better? That every tear you cried was watering the soil for something greater to grow? You see, destiny does not operate on human logic. It operates on divine timing. That's why things that seem impossible suddenly become effortless when they're meant to be. That's why when you meet the right person, there won't be confusion, doubt, or inconsistency. There will be clarity, certainty, and peace. When God is involved, things just click. The conversation flows effortlessly. The connection feels natural. The vision aligns. You don't have to convince, chase, or struggle. It just works. But in order for this to happen, you must be willing to surrender your timeline for God's. You must be willing to let go of what's comfortable in order to step into what's divine. You must trust that everything you've been through has been preparing you for what's ahead. Destiny is already in motion. The right person is not just coming into your life. They are being positioned at the exact moment they need to be. And when that moment comes, you'll understand why every delay, every disappointment, and every detour was necessary. Because when God brings the chosen one into your life, it won't just be love, it will be purpose, it will be partnership, it will be destiny in its highest form. Before God brings the right person into your life, there is something crucial that must happen. You must be ready to receive them. Too many people pray for love, for a partner who will uplift them, for a relationship filled with purpose, but they fail to realize that preparation always comes before provision. God will never give you something you are not prepared to handle. He is not just interested in blessing you. He is interested in building you so that the blessing can last. Imagine asking for rain but not having a container to collect it. The rain will come, but without preparation it will be wasted. The same applies to relationships. You can't just desire a partner. You have to become the person who can nurture, sustain, and grow in that relationship. God doesn't send what you ask for. He sends what you're prepared for. Preparation is not just about waiting. It's about actively becoming. It's about working on yourself, healing from past wounds, growing in faith, and aligning your life with the kind of love you desire. Many people want a strong, committed, spiritually grounded relationship, but they themselves are not yet strong, committed, or spiritually grounded. If you want a partner of high value, you must become a person of high value. This is where many people get frustrated. They think they are waiting on God, but in reality, God is waiting on them. He is waiting for them to let go of past baggage, to release unhealthy patterns, to develop emotional maturity, and to step into the level of faith required to sustain a divine relationship. Consider this: if God sent your chosen partner today, would you be ready? Would you recognize them? Or would old wounds, insecurities, and fears cloud your judgment? Would you push them away because of past trauma? Would you sabotage the relationship because deep down you still don't believe you are worthy of that kind of love? This is why preparation is necessary. Preparation is about healing. It's about breaking free from the patterns that have held you back. If you've been through heartbreak, use this time to heal, to reflect, to learn the lessons that experience taught you. Don't carry old pain into a new relationship. A wounded heart cannot fully receive love. Healing isn't just about moving on. It's about growing, about allowing God to restore what was broken so you can love from a place of wholeness, not desperation. Preparation is about growth. If you want a relationship that is built on faith, integrity, and purpose, you must first cultivate those qualities in yourself. You must develop the character, discipline, and emotional intelligence that a strong relationship requires. Too many people focus on finding the right person. A relationship isn't just about love, it's about responsibility. It's about patience, understanding, forgiveness, and resilience. It's about knowing how to communicate, how to handle conflict, how to support someone through their highs and lows. And these are skills that must be developed before the relationship begins. Preparation is about alignment. When your life is aligned with God's purpose, everything starts falling into place. The wrong people start exiting, the right opportunities start appearing. The confusion you once had about love and relationships starts to clear up. You no longer chase, you attract, because you are no longer moving in your own strength, but in God's divine flow. But alignment requires letting go of what no longer serves you. Some people are praying for their God-ordained partner while still entertaining relationships that they know are not from God. They are holding on to distractions, to situationships, to people who drain them rather than build them. and they wonder why the right one hasn't shown up. God will not send the right person into the wrong environment. If you are still attached to something toxic, if you are still entertaining what you know isn't right, then there is no room for what God is trying to give you. You cannot hold on to the past and expect to step into the future. Sometimes preparation requires separation. It requires walking away from what is familiar but unhealthy so you can step into what is unknown but divine. Preparation also requires patience. In a world that glorifies instant gratification, waiting can feel like a struggle. But God's best is worth the wait. The right relationship will not come through force, manipulation, or control. It will come through divine timing. And while you wait, you must trust that every delay is for a purpose. Some delays are not denials, they are divine protection. God is not just preparing you, he is preparing your partner as well. Because here's the truth. The person God has for you is also going through their own journey of growth, healing, and preparation. They are learning the lessons they need to learn. They are being positioned, refined, and shaped so that when the two of you finally meet, it won't be a coincidence, it will be alignment. But alignment only happens when both people are ready. Imagine two puzzle pieces that are meant to fit together. If one of them is not fully shaped, the connection won't work. The same is true in relationships. If one or both people are still in a place of brokenness, insecurity, or emotional immaturity, the relationship will not thrive. That is why preparation is key. Because when the right one comes, you won't have to struggle to make it work. It will flow. There will be peace, not confusion, clarity, not doubt. But this only happens when both people have done the work to become who they need to be. So before you pray for love, ask yourself, am I ready for it? Am I prepared to give what I'm asking for? Have I done the work to heal, to grow, to align? Because when preparation meets destiny, that is when the divine unfolds. One of the greatest challenges people face when it comes to love and relationships is discernment. The ability to recognize when something is from God versus when it's merely a distraction. The truth is, not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay. Not every connection is divine. And if you don't have the spiritual awareness to recognize what God is bringing into your life, you might end up walking away from the right person or holding on to the wrong one. Many people pray for a God-ordained relationship, but when that person finally arrives, they don't recognize them. Why? Because they were expecting something different. They were expecting the relationship to look a certain way, to happen in a certain time frame, to unfold according to their own plans. But God's ways are not our ways. His timing is not our timing. Sometimes what he sends doesn't look like what you expected, but it is exactly what you need. So how do you recognize when someone is truly meant for you? How do you differentiate between a divine connection and a temporary distraction? First, peace is your confirmation. When something is from God, it will not bring confusion, chaos, or anxiety. You won't have to question your worth, beg for attention, or wonder where you stand. There will be peace. Now that doesn't mean there won't be challenges. Every relationship requires work, but there is a difference between a challenge that grows you and a battle that drains you. A divine connection will not feel like a constant struggle. You won't have to force it to work, and you won't have to constantly convince someone to choose you. Love from God flows. It may not always be easy, but it will always be clear. When the right person enters your life, they will bring consistency, not confusion, commitment, not chaos. Second, your purpose will align. God does not send people into your life to distract you from your purpose. He sends people who will push you further into it. The right person will not pull you away from your faith, your calling, or your growth. Instead, they will strengthen it. Some relationships feel like a constant tug of war between who you are and who they want you to be. But a divine relationship won't force you to shrink yourself to fit someone else's expectations. Instead, it will encourage you to step fully into the person you were created to be. Think about it this way. If someone is truly meant for you, their presence in your life will inspire you to become better, not smaller. They will challenge you, support you, and push you closer to God, not further away. If a relationship requires you to compromise your values, silence your voice, or abandon your dreams, it is not from God. Third, your spirit will recognize them before your mind does. There is something powerful about divine alignment. When two people are meant to walk together, there is an unexplainable sense of familiarity, a knowing that goes beyond words. It's like your soul remembers them, even if your mind doesn't fully understand it yet. This doesn't mean you'll have love at first sight or an instant fairy tale moment, but there will be a deep sense of connection, of purpose, of alignment. You will feel seen, understood, and valued, not just for what you do, but for who you are at your core. Many people miss out on their blessing because they are waiting for something flashy, dramatic, or overly romanticized. But sometimes God's greatest gifts come in quiet, steady, and consistent packages. Love from God isn't about the rush, it's about the roots. It's about depth, stability, and a foundation that lasts. Fourth, divine timing will be evident. When God brings someone into your life, the timing will make sense. Maybe in the past you weren't ready. Maybe they weren't ready. But when the right time comes, things will align effortlessly. Doors will open that once seemed closed. Circumstances will shift. What once felt impossible will suddenly seem natural. That's why patience is crucial. If you rush the process, you might force a relationship before its time. But when something is truly meant for you, it will come together in a way that no human effort could orchestrate. Finally, your relationship will be covered in God's presence. When something is from God, it will be rooted in prayer, faith, and spiritual growth. The right relationship will not pull you away from your relationship with God. It will draw you closer. Together you will seek Him, pray together, grow together, and walk in purpose together. Too many people focus only on physical attraction or emotional connection, but the strongest relationships are built on spiritual alignment. When God is at the center, love is not just based on feelings, it's based on faith, commitment, and divine purpose. Some of you have been wondering why love hasn't worked out for you yet. You've experienced heartbreak, disappointment, and relationships that didn't last, but maybe, just maybe, those relationships didn't work out because God was protecting you from something that wasn't meant to be permanent. Maybe He was clearing space. Maybe He was teaching you to discern the difference between what looks good and what is actually good. Maybe He was preparing you to recognize the real thing when it finally comes. Because when God sends your person, you won't have to force it. You won't have to convince them of your worth. You won't have to beg for love, attention, or commitment. The right person will come with the right energy, the right effort, and the right intentions. And when that happens, you'll look back and realize every delay, every heartbreak, every wrong turn was leading you to something greater than you ever imagined. Faith is the foundation of every great promise. When it comes to love, relationships, and the divine partner God has for you, faith is not just about believing that it will happen. It's about trusting God's process even when you don't see any evidence of progress. This is where most people struggle. They pray for a God-ordained relationship, but when things don't happen according to their own timeline, doubt starts creeping in. They wonder if God has forgotten them. They compare their journey to others. They question if they are doing something wrong. And in their impatience, they start forcing things, settling for less, or trying to take control of the process themselves. But God's timing is perfect. He is never late, never early. He moves with divine precision. When He makes you wait, it is not to deny you, but to prepare, protect, and position you for something far greater than you could create on your own. Think about this. Would you rather have something right now that's temporary, or wait for something that's truly meant to last? Too often, people rush into relationships because they feel pressure from society, family, or even their own emotions. They see others getting married, starting families, posting their perfect pictures online, and they start believing that they are falling behind. But love is not a race. Divine timing is not measured by human calendars. What God is doing in your life is unique to you. Just because you don't see movement doesn't mean nothing is happening. Faith requires trust. It requires believing that even when you don't see it, God is working behind the scenes, aligning everything at the right moment. It requires resisting the urge to settle, to force connections, or to take shortcuts out of impatience. It requires understanding that what is meant for you will not miss you, but you must be prepared to receive it. But look at some of the most powerful stories in the Bible. Every great promise took time. Abraham and Sarah waited for their promised son. Joseph waited years in a prison before stepping into his destiny. David was anointed king but had to go through battles before taking the throne. If God made them wait, what makes us think we should get everything instantly? Waiting is not punishment, it is refinement. During the waiting season, God is shaping you. He is strengthening your faith, removing distractions, and teaching you to rely on Him completely. He is asking you, do you trust me even when you don't see the outcome yet? Because here's the truth. If you can't trust God with your love life, how can you trust Him with the bigger things in your future? A lot of people say they trust God, but as soon as they feel lonely, they start chasing relationships that were never meant for them. As soon as something doesn't go their way, they take matters into their own hands. But faith is not just about trusting when things are easy. It's about trusting even when nothing makes sense. God is not just preparing someone for you. He is preparing you for them. And that process takes time. If God gave you everything you wanted right now, would you be ready for it? Would you be able to handle the responsibility, commitment, and growth that comes with a God-ordained relationship? Because love is not just about feelings, it's about purpose. It's about two people coming together to glorify God, to build something greater than themselves, and to walk in divine alignment. That kind of love is powerful. That kind of love is worth the wait. But waiting doesn't mean doing nothing. Faith is active. It means using this time to grow spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. It means deepening your relationship with God so that when the right person arrives, they find you already standing firm in your purpose, not waiting around for someone to complete you. Too many people think love is about finding someone to fill the empty places inside them. But a relationship will not heal what only God can heal. A partner will not give you self-worth if you don't already have it within yourself. A God-ordained relationship is not two incomplete people coming together. It is two whole, purpose-driven people aligning for something greater. That's why trusting God's timing is crucial. You may not understand why things aren't happening yet. You may feel frustrated, wondering why you're still single or why certain relationships didn't work out. But one day, when you're standing beside the person God had for you all along, you will look back and realize every delay was divine protection. Every heartbreak was redirection. Every season of waiting was preparation. God is never late. He is always right on time. But can you trust Him enough to let Him write your love story instead of trying to write it yourself? Because the moment you fully surrender your desires to Him, the moment you stop chasing and start aligning, the moment you truly believe that what He has for you is greater than anything you could create on your own, that is when everything begins to shift.